Hi guys. So there's a very small piece of justice somewhat that has occurred today. At least it's happened the day before Thanksgiving for the family of Shanquella Robinson so that they can have a small piece of hope in their family during this tragic time. While we'll all be celebrating our Thanksgiving tomorrow, enjoying our food and festivities, Shanquella's parents and family will join together, and at their dinner table, one seat will be empty because Shanquella will not be there. But today, the Mexican prosecutor has issued an arrest warrant for the perpetrator who unalived or took the life of Shanquella. This does not mean that all 6 Cabo fake friends have been arrested. So it's a small piece of justice. The thing that really concerns me about this arrest is it feels as though the Mexican authorities are still cutting corners and shortcuts in this case. If this case had occurred on American soil, and if it played out the same way it did here, and the 5 part individuals who were recording the incident and subsequently lied to police authorities claiming that Shanquella died of alcohol poisoning, they would have been arrested for obstruction of justice and or accessory of a second-degree murder after the fact. However, the Mexican authorities, to my opinion, seem to be cutting corners, using shortcuts. They're trying to find the most efficient way to use the extradition method of extraditing just the main culprit. So what I believe right now, before I get into this article, is they are using their investigation based upon the video that was released. And based on that analysis, I think they have issued an arrest warrant for Diogenes. Now, the Mexican prosecutor has not specified who they are actually arresting. They did not specify the name of the person that they have issued the warrant for. But we, with our intelligent minds, and can be able to look at the information we have already displayed before us, we can see that one culprit has been depicted in the video, and the only person we know of is Diogenes. So I think it is, in fact, Diogenes who is the subject of the arrest warrant. I think what will happen is, of course, FBI is going to be working with Mexico to look for and search for Diogenes, and they will, in fact, find her because this case has become a national case, and we have continued to talk about it and advocate for Shanquella. The FBI is going to do everything in their power and utilize every maximum amount of resources to find Diogenes. Once they find her, they're going to extradite her back to Mexico, and that's when the pressure is going to be put on her. She is going to crack, if in fact there's another video, because we don't know if there's another video. There has been so many speculation floating around about this case that we don't even know what's true or what is not true, which is quite frustrating about this case, because we can't really determine what's true, what's not true. So if there is some other subsequent video out here that depicts the other people beating her, then Diogenes is going to crack under the pressure. So we will really be able to know the truth, I believe, once Diogenes is extradited back to Mexico, because either she's going to crack under the pressure and say, oh, it wasn't just me, there were these people, and when I beat her up, she was still okay, she was still alive, but when such and such did it, and I can show you proof, here's a video, then we'll start hearing more of evidence coming out. That's really how we're going to see the truth come out about this. If there is no subsequent video that is referenced by Diogenes and she remains quiet, hey, either there isn't a subsequent video showing these allegations of the other 2 individuals beating Shanquella, and maybe it was just Diogenes. So again, there's just so many speculations that we only need to just look at what we have now. So as we have now, I think the prosecutor in Mexico is only proceeding with Diogenes. The reason why I'm disappointed is because of the very language the prosecutor used. The prosecutor said this case is fully clarified. When they said fully clarified, to me, that looks like it's a final investigation. It doesn't mean this, because when a prosecutor, and I used to be a prosecutor, I can't really speak for Mexican authorities, but in America, when we have a case and we are prosecuting it, we speak to the public officials, we'll say, you know, this case is under investigation. We have a suspect that we will be issuing arrest warrant, such and such. However, this case is still being investigated and still there may be possible future suspects. However, the language that this particular prosecutor uses, and I can't really compare it to American analysis, but they're saying the case is fully clarified. To me, that means they already have finalized in their mind who they think the person is, and that's who they're going to pursue. It doesn't mean, in my opinion, that they're going to take any subsequent action to arrest any of the other 5 culprits. And another thing, in America, I don't even think a prosecutor would have enough evidence at this time with what we have just looking at right now to arrest Nazir, because there is no direct evidence or even indirect circumstantial evidence to show he knew about the beating. He did get there a day later, a couple hours later. I mean, he would have an argument to the fact that he was there after the fact and they didn't tell him, unless when they conduct a search of his phone or communications with the other individuals, and they see other communications that show he knew about the beating, and then he intentionally lied to authorities about it. But if he didn't know about it, and he just told the authorities that it was alcohol poisoning just because that's what he was told, I don't think a prosecutor would even proceed with filing charges against him. But if we take these same allegations and apply it in America, at least 5 of those individuals would have already been arrested because they lied to the police when the police came and issued the warrant. Or sorry, they lied to the police when the police came to investigate the case after she had passed away. When the police came, they still kept insisting that she had alcohol intoxication. So they lied to a government official and they obstructed justice. So in America, that would be a different crime. So they would be held under that type of crime that's filed. Now, if the prosecutor found that they were actually assisting, and I would say they can also charge them, those 5 people, if it was in America, for accessory after the fact, because they're basically assisting that murder and hiding the murder, basically hiding it by saying it's an alcohol intoxication. But Mexico is proceeding differently. They're saying the case is fully clarified, which to me, I don't like that language as an attorney. I'm speaking from my attorney lenses. You guys can speak from your own perspective, but I don't like that language, fully clarified for me. And then they say we even have a court order. There is an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide to the detriment of the victim against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of her who is the direct aggressor. It seems like this prosecutor is taking a narrow approach to this investigation. They are, in America, we're very aggressive in our prosecutions. A lot of the prosecutors we're going to go for everybody who we think is involved if we can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Mexico's taking a more conservative, narrow perspective. It could be one of other ways. Number one, they don't want to use all these resources to extradite all these people back unless they have full evidence that they're involved in some way. And all they have is this one video that has been floating around of Diogenes brutally beating Shanquella. So they're going to go with the direct evidence they have, which they say here, direct. So they're not going to take the circumstantial approach. They're taking the direct evidence approach. So as it stands, they're only arresting Diogenes. At this point, I think it's best that, we continue to fight for this. We continue to fight, even with our resources, to not go to Mexico at this time. I don't think we should support Mexico because they're not fully litigating this case, in my opinion, as they should. Now, if Diogenes goes there and she starts unfolding more information about this beating and that there were other individuals involved and took part in that beating, we'll see what happens and we'll see what the prosecutor does. But just looking at the language that this prosecutor says, the prosecutor De La Rosa Ayana said, this case is fully clarified. We even have a court order. There is an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide and to the detriment of the victim against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of her who is the direct. So they're not, like I said, they're taking a narrow approach to this case. The prosecutor that is litigating this case is Daniel De La Rosa Ayana. I said that wrong. Daniel De La Rosa Anya. How do you say that, guys? Anya. So that is the prosecutor in this case. Let's take a little more of a deep dive in the information that the Mexican prosecutor has said. They said an arrest warrant has been issued in the death of Shanquella, a Charlotte woman killed while vacationing in Mexico, according to the Mexican prosecutor, confirmed by ABC News. Daniel de la Rosa Anya, a prosecutor for the state of Baja Sur, told ABC a friend of Robinson's, who is the direct aggressor, is being sought by international authorities on charges of femicide. This case is fully clarified. We even have a court order. There is an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide to the detriment of the victim against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of who is the direct aggressor. De La Rosa Anya told ABC News actually it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. And that's very clear because a quarrel requires two people to be fighting. In this case, it was one person brutally beating someone who was not trying to participate in the fight. So it was like the prosecutor is saying, a direct aggression. They said, we are carrying out all the pertinent procedures such as the Interpol alert and the request for extradition to the United States of America. It's about two Americans, the victim and the culprit. And he really wanted to emphasize that it's about two Americans. He wanted to emphasize that, guys, because he's trying to separate Mexico from this whole incident. They're like, no, that's an American issue, but we're gonna litigate it because we don't want y'all coming for us. So we're gonna litigate it, but it's y'all people over here messing up in our country, okay? See, the prosecutor over here, he's smart. He want to make sure he emphasized that it's about two Americans and the victim and the culprit. Authorities have not identified who they are working to arrest at this time. So let's keep that clear, guys. I did mention in my community post that I think it's Diogene. That's just a logical belief because that's the person we've seen in the video, guys. So we're like, so who else would we assume they're talking about? But we shall see. We might be surprised. What if it's Winter that they arrest? But I really think it's probably Diogene. Mexican authorities have issued the arrest warrant. I thought that was going to be something new, guys. Okay, Michael Lettier, an expert of femicide in Mexico, said when a woman is killed in the country, authorities are often required to open the investigation as a femicide. From there, they look into whether she was killed for reasons due to her gender or if there were specific circumstances such as domestic violence. ABC News told Robinson's mom on Wednesday evening that an arrest warrant had been issued in the case. The mother said, I feel so good. That's a good feeling. That's what Salamandra Robinson said. So Salamandra Robinson has received this good news. It's at least a wonderful news for her to have as she goes into the Thanksgiving holiday. I mean, it's still horrible for her not to have her beautiful, jovial, bubbly Shanquella with her. We all saw her on those videos and how just vibrant she was. So fun, and to be around. I'm pretty sure she was fun around the holidays. And now, the family doesn't get to experience that. But at least she has one piece of happiness during tomorrow's festivities. Salamandra said, that's what we have been waiting for someone to finally be held accountable and arrested. I just can't wait for justice to be served. So I'm so happy for Salamandra right now. I'm just speaking from my own personal perspective that I'm disappointed, but as long as Salamandra is happy, I'm happy for her. Her parents said Robinson, 25, left for Cabo with several friends. We already know that they're just going to give us the same information again. I want to see if I can Google something. Now, I have been told that if someone is prosecuted for femicide, they usually get 40 to 60 years. But I'm looking at this, and they said on top of the prison time of 700 years each? No, that can't be right. What is this? I was going to try to look up how long someone can serve for femicide. That's what I was looking at. What I've been told is like 40 to 60 years, but I wanted to look it up and see. Femicide, a crime that deprives a woman of life as a result of her being a woman, basically, or a female. And that's basically what it is. Now, it's interesting that they're going to proceed with that theory. They must have some type of evidence that they're saying that Diogenes was jealous of her and killed her because she's a beautiful woman. I'm just saying. I mean, hey, that would be a good theory because that's pretty much what happened. Shoot. That's pretty much what happened. Guys, we're going to be here all day, but I think it's possibly 40 to 60 years that they would have to serve, while the maximum constitutes 70 years. In comparing the penal codes, the minimum sentence for femicide is 20 years in prison. That's the minimum sentence they can serve, while the maximum constitutes 20 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see how long Miss Diogenes serves for this crime. I hope they give her the maximum. That woman is a murderer. She's evil. I'm not saying that she intended to murder Shanquella. I think there was an intent to beat this girl up and beat her up pretty bad. That's what I think. When I say she was set up, I think that initially was the setup, was they were going to beat her up. I think the beating up went too far beyond what their expectation was, and unfortunately, she beat her too much to the point where she passed away. But when she was no longer conscious and the doctor was there, instead of trying to save this young lady's life, they continued to lie and cover up their lie to protect themselves, which further led to her death. So I think she should be charged with second-degree murder if it was in America. Now, in Mexico, they're doing a femicide approach, so she could serve possibly 20 to 70 years. So we will see what happens in this case. I'm still a little disappointed because I really wanted those other individuals to be arrested. I don't honestly think they have enough to proceed with filing charges against Nazir, although I can't stand Nazir. I think some of his information is kind of inconsistent. I mean, and honestly, the if we believe the Mexican police report, which I don't really know if I believe, because I feel like they were lying in that too, guys. But if the Mexican police report was true, but like I said, I don't believe it. If it was, it would somewhat vindicate Nazir in some ways because of the timing. They claim she was pronounced deceased at 5:57, if it was true, okay? So, you know, we really don't know what they told Nazir. We don't know. Was he wrong probably for leaving Shanquella? That was the part I think ethically, morally was wrong to leave his friend, but we really don't know exactly what his part to play was in it. So I don't know if a prosecutor would even pursue anything against him unless they searched his phone. They found some other evidence that could prove he had direct knowledge of her being beaten or saw the video and he just proceeded to lie to authorities about it and try to obstruct justice. But if there's no evidence to prove that, they can't go forward. But with that being said, I'm just disappointed that they haven't looked into the other 5. I think all 5 of those other people should be arrested, not just Diogenes. So I'm a little disappointed. But that's just me. I'm still happy though, guys, that there is at least one arrest warrant. That's huge progress because Mexico, they already started out trying to dismiss this case from the beginning. So for them to pursue charges and to extradite somebody, that's huge. That's really huge for us. And it's all thanks to you guys. It's all thanks to all the bloggers out there. It's all thanks to all the social media outlets, everyone who was really adamant to talk about this case and advocate for Shanquella. Because if no one spoke out about this, then Mexico would have just buried it away and never said anything because they were trying to keep themselves out of the situation. But as you can see, the prosecutor is going to be emphasizing time and time again that this was an American issue because they really don't want to have any part in it, pretty much. Meaning they're saying it's not our fault that y'all coming in our country messing up. Don't put that on us. Y'all need to still come to Cabo. But in my opinion, I will not be going to Cabo or Mexico because I don't like how they proceeded. And I don't feel comfortable that if anything were to happen to me or some accident, anything, I don't feel confident in the Mexican officials. So I won't be going there for my own sake. But that's just me, y'all. That's just me. What you guys think? Someone says, I believe her name is pronounced Diogenes. I don't care how her name is pronounced, y'all. I'm not even trying to pronounce it correctly at this point. So I pronounce it as Diogenes. I acknowledge that it's not pronounced correctly, and I'm going to continue to pronounce it that way. I don't really care. I'm not trying to be politically correct at this point. So Go Karen said, so sorry, Shanquella, you didn't have discernment and didn't deserve it, baby. Yes, she sure didn't. They will soon be next, right? Hi, Red Lipstick Hustler. How are you, sweetie? Happy Thanksgiving. Paula Jacob says, when I saw the authorities issued a warrant, I was so relieved. Are both the beaters being warranted arrest? No, Paula, just one. They only issued one. The prosecutor is taking a direct approach to this, so I think they're really arresting the person that was depicted in the video beating Shanquella. That's what I think. They haven't actually identified who the arrest warrant is for. I am just speculating. Someone said, damn, your YouTube, I have my notifications set all on. Dang it. Oh, no problem, Elizabeth. How are you, sweetie? Happy Thanksgiving. The Red Lipstick Hustler, Lily. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, guys, let's see if... I want to check and see if NCB, because he was live, and he actually had a recording of... Oh, he is live, guys. I'm not going to listen to all of his stuff. I want to just go on the part where... They need our prayers. They need... Hold on. There's a part in here where he actually has a video. Oh, no. What is y'all doing? Oh, he must have came off the live. Did he get off the live already? Watch again. Okay. I'm going to try to find the part of this, guys, where he actually shows the recording of the prosecutor. Because I think it's a different translation. That's a funny look. I don't know. Can I find it in here? Oh, it's just going to freeze on me. I thought he would have it on here on his article, but he didn't give us the recording. All right, guys. Well, we already know the information. So that's the good news, is that they at least arrested someone. So, yeah, Jewel, I'm with you. I hope they get them all. But at this point, it doesn't look like that's what their approach is. They're really taking a direct approach to this. So we will wait and see. At this point, I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to see what they actually do. Are they really going to go and arrest these other people? I really don't see it at this point. It looks like they're just proceeding with Diogene, allegedly. They haven't identified the person. Now, if it is Diogene and she gets back there, goes back to Mexico, she might snitch on the other one. She might show videos and other evidence. And I think that's going to be the only way that the Mexican authorities will take any other subsequent approaches. She's going to have to show evidence. If she actually cracks under pressure and tells on the other people, if that is true, if it is true that the other people were involved, we don't know, because all we have is one video. There's been so many rumors floating around. We don't know what's true and what's not true. So all we have is one video showing Shanquella being beat by Diogene. So I'm thinking once they do extradite her back, and I'm telling you guys, FBI is going to find her, because FBI is going to be looking to get her extradited back to Mexico, because they want justice just as much as we do. It's just unfortunate that the feds really can't prosecute this case right now, because it has to be prosecuted in the jurisdiction where the crime occurred, which would be in Mexico. So, but either way, they want her prosecuted, so they're going to find her. And they're probably out there looking right now for her as we speak, you guys. As we speak. They probably already know where she is, because they've been watching her. Who knows? Who knows? But I tell you guys, Diogene is going to be on the run right now. Her mom probably told her to start running at this point. I'm telling you, Diogene is going to be on the run. She is not going to turn herself in. If I see her turn herself in, that would be a miracle. That would be a miracle. Diogene is going to run until she get caught. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. This is one good news that we have. Take care, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this arrest warrant. We should definitely keep fighting for Shanquella and for justice and continue to be her voice, because this is not over. They all should be arrested. Honestly, I don't think they have much of a case against Nazir unless they have some other evidence to show he really knew about the fight. But as for the other five involved, the other five need to be arrested, in my opinion. All right, take care, beautiful people. Have a wonderful holiday.